Good day, farmers. Welcome to Orbit Farm. Well, as I said, that the partnership is not going well. But as though it's not going well, there are decisions I've been making in my head and how best to solve it. So the challenges that I faced as a person, I think these are the same challenges that each and every person who goes into joint venture will face. For starters, both of you need to be on the same page. If you're not on the same page, you're not going to achieve anything. And that is the funny part about it. I thought that because I had found another person who was already doing farming, it was supposed to be an easy transition for us to agree on certain things and certain understandings of levels of how to get the farming done within a short space of time and within a reasonable space of time. But as I saw that probably my vision and their vision were two totally different. So them totally being different meant that what I envisioned and what they were envisioning were two totally different views. So how do we, first thing that I think that people should do when they go next into farming or when they go into joint venture is first talk to each other and understand what you both want to achieve. After you have both agreed on what you want to achieve, document it. Really document it and put it down on paper that this is A, B, C, D. 3, make sure that each and everyone's goals is aligned. And when a person diverts from that goals, you need to be able to then say to one another, this is how we're going to achieve those goals. But that is where the problem was. My goals and his goals were not really aligning. And why they were not aligning was because as much as we had agreed on certain principles, I was not also supposed to be the person to supervise. Mine was just to make sure that the funding was there and they supervised. So the supervision was the one that was now starting to fail. It was not as if they were not given each and every all the opportunities of doing it, but they were given all the opportunities, but just they did not look into making sure that those opportunities were met and all those opportunities were put in alignment. So make sure that that is something that is really done, and especially of the supervision. It may mean that once in a while, or actually very often at the beginning, but at the beginning, you need to be there. Yes, I was there at the beginning and I thought everything was now fallen in place, only for the things to fall out of place with the time. So those are the things that you then say to yourselves, is it the best way to do it? And if it's not, what do you really need to do to make sure that these things are then maintained or looked at in the future or at that present moment? When, as I always say, when things are going wrong, do not be quiet. Talk about it, move on, and find solutions. If you can't find solutions, find a way out of it. And if you can't find a way out of it, I think it's best to then stop. So these are the recommendations I actually do make when you go into partnership. Not all partnerships will go wrong. I've got other partnerships which are going extremely well. This has been the first one, or I can say the first one, but one of a few that has failed to work because our thought processes and our alignments are not in place. So we have now taken over part of this project. This part of this project now we have taken over is that for these onions, I do not believe that we can lose out on these onions. So what we are now doing is that we have now taken over the onions, making sure that we are doing the watering. So now we will make sure that I send someone specifically once a week to do the watering, and then I come and monitor and see. Like right now, this place needed to have already been weeded, this bed, but it has not been weeded. So I will look for someone to come and actually do the work for the weeding. We had 2 people who were here, who were working, but I did not know that they had left. And the reason why I never knew where we left is because the gentleman was not communicating that there was a disagreement between the 2 gentlemen and him. So finding reliable people, yes, you can find reliable people. But as I said, I was not the day-to-day contact of these people. And not being the day-to-day contact of that, I did not have their information all the time, because either I am not available, I'm doing other things, or I'm not even around. So therefore, the people on the ground who are supposed to be on the ground got to a point whereby I think they did not come to an agreement, and then I got to hear it from a third party. And it's only after I got to hear a third party when I came the last time to visit, that is when I got to hear that the challenges that the people were facing and the people on the farm were facing. But these were challenges which were not supposed to even be a challenge, because I did not see them as a challenge, but it was just because no one was communicating to me those challenges. So when you farm, as much as everything you try to do correctly, you will find stumbling blocks. This was the first stumbling block that I have faced on this kind of farming together on fruits and vegetables. I have farmed with someone else before doing fruits and vegetables, and it worked out really perfectly well. It's only until the dam got taken away that the project stopped. But this is not something that you should, as I said, you walk away from it very fast. Like right now, I've already decided that the maize crop, they're going to cut it down. Once they've cut it down, we'll use it as silage for the goats, for the goats and the cows at the farm. So I will make sure that the truck comes through, picks up all this thing, all the maize that we have grown, and we have already started a bit the cutting of the. After we've done the cutting of the maize, we will take them to the other farm, to my farm, and that is where we'll feed them. But for the onions, I believe that this is the only thing that is still salvageable. The tomatoes, not really at all. I'm not ever actually looking at them. I'm actually wondering why they watered them, but it's okay. I've got no problem, but I don't see us being able to salvage the tomatoes. But the onions, yes, we can really salvage, because they still have a lot of time, and we will then do the necessaries to make sure that these onions do extremely well. Well, these are the challenges, as I said, as being a farmer is, or being in partnership is. Now I've now been forced here to at least now come once a week to make sure that this project that is now left does not die off. That is now the position that I'm in, to make sure that this project that I'm in does not die off. And why I mean it doesn't die off, it means that we make sure that each and every one of these onions gets to market. The cabbage has already got too much problems on it. That's why we're now leaving the cabbage, because it has already got too much problems. But I know exactly what I will use the cabbage for, but that is for another video. But for now, the tomato and the onions are the major thing that we have done. We have watered them, and right now they've already started to bulb. So we are supposed to harvest these ones in November. That was the original plan, for them to be out in November, which means in the next 2 months it is more about them bulbing, and then us looking at, after they've bulbed, what to do. But I know that we do have a market for these. These will be sold, and as you can see, the bulbing has already begun in certain areas. So we will just keep on monitoring. Now this is now myself really, and another gentleman that I've also put in to be a little bit of my eyes when I'm not around, to come and visit, check on the onions, and work or not have more losses. Well, this is the truth about partnerships. Not all partnerships work, not all partnerships fail, but when you are in it, understand that when it's not working and when it's not going the way you're working, do not get disappointed. Do not look down on yourself or feel as if you're the only one who it has happened to. It has happened to a lot of people, and it happening to a lot of people just means that you need to learn from it and then move on. As for me, at least I'm happy that whatever I'm doing, I can move on from here and say that where I'm going, I'm in a very better place, because if I want to do agriculture, at least I know I've got a piece of land which has got water, and that is the most important thing. Water and farming is very important. Right now this has failed because the person who was supposed to look after did not look after it. So we will just then move from here, look at how best we can do things, and then work from there. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, and to those who have subscribed, please subscribe and put on the notification button. Thank you, and have a good day.